before you head out to your campsite, it's very important that you prepare for days when it's going to be really hot. It doesn't even have to be the dog days of summer. We're into early summer, late spring, and we've already hit 93 degrees with humidity that tops the charts, and it's really hot. So the things you want to be prepared for, first of all, is find a spot you can get in the shade like this. I can drop about 20 degrees temperature just by finding a shady spot to be able to put my RV. If you can't find shade, maybe you want to use a pop-up tent or some type of a cover, awnings, anything like that to produce shade anywhere you can over your RV or in places you're going to be at. Find a place that has some ventilation. You know, don't put yourself into a small little coved area where you're not going to get any wind, because it's going to become very hot and you'll have bugs and that type of stuff as well. I like to find a place near water. Anytime I get near a water source, it's a little cooler. If you take pets especially, you want to be able to bring a small little pool with you that you can fill with water, a pop-top canopy, just to make sure it's nice and cool. Drink lots of water. You know, if you start to feel thirsty, you've already become dehydrated. So you should drink, they say, on an average of a gallon of water a day. So when it gets into really hot temperatures, you want to make sure you bring plenty of water. One of the things I always do is I take bottled water and gallons of water and I freeze them before I go. So when I bring them back, I'm not relying on that refrigerator to make them really cold and keep them cold all the time. I just bring them out, put them in a cooler, and as they start to melt, then I've got a really cold bottle of water and the ice in the jug as well. The other thing you want to do is wear light colored clothing that breathes. The darker the clothing, the hotter it gets, the less breathing, the less airflow you get, and it's just very uncomfortable. Schedule your activities for the early morning or late evenings when it's going to be a lot cooler. You know, if you can do any hiking, that type of stuff in the morning, it's going to be a lot easier to do. You're going to be a lot more comfortable. The other thing then I look at is I want to make sure everybody that I'm with and people out there are familiar with what heat stroke does and is. Heat stroke is when your body temperature gets above 104 degrees. And you're going to start to feel nauseated. You'll have clammy skin that is you're not sweating. Other symptoms are headaches, vomiting, racing heart, muscle cramps, that type of stuff. You know, so if you do have heat stroke, or it seems like you have it, first thing you want to do is sit down, try to cool off, call 911. Don't do a lot of activity. You might be able to put some ice packs on forehead, or even just a towel on your forehead, armpits, and various areas, just to kind of cool you down until the EMTs can get there. You definitely want to make sure you remove any heavy clothing, and if you can mist yourself with a little bit of water or a fan while you're waiting. Now that brings up another point in the heat. One of the things that I see a lot of campers do as well is to put a little misters around the awnings. In fact, Dometic and A&E make a fan that goes into their power awning with a mister, and it's just a small little spray of water that comes out, and it helps cool areas down. You see it in a lot of restaurants down south. One other tip too is get a bandana or a light piece of fabric, soak it in some really cold water, put it around your neck if you're going to be outside walking around, and get a big hat and some sunscreen. But you can enjoy the heat as long as you're prepared for it and understand precautions that you need to take.